Good evening everyone and welcome to another Thursday night's RWB Audi's Mini League. 1 car and 5 tracks. We're currently at Hockenheimring and we've just entered qualifying, remembering of course that qualifying is only for 6 minutes and the race lasts for 8 minutes. So 3 minutes and 53 seconds left of qualifying. As usual, I'm here partly tonight because I believe he's got to rush off and feed his alien pet that he has, is our resident alien, Speed. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Very good, thank you very much. Now, some say that the Stig has an alter to Speed. I think that's true. Can you confirm that?
Roger that.
Yeah, he does. Of course, he does. So here we are, Speed. Another Thursday night. Great events. This. We've got 18 people that are running tonight. Couple of guests. As usual, I'm looking forward to some great racing tonight. I love these Thursday nights, super quick, lots of action. And I suppose we should talk about this car, shouldn't we? Because this is not a BMW 1 Series, this is a 134 V8 Judd Formula 1 engine, made infamous, of course, by the wonderful George Plaza before he died in 2011. Do you know anything about this car you can share with us?
Yes, it's rocking a very sexy sounding, a very sexy looking F1 Judd engine.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen to that. In fact, some people say that is the sound of F1 right there, the Judd V8 engine. And whilst the, say, Mercedes is a bit like a scalpel, it'll cut you in half, this engine is like a bat that will smash you to a pulp. It just epitomises brute force and grunt. And that 1 Series BMW there is just a shell, essentially. It's got more carbon on it and more downforce and more diffusers on it than you can shake a stick at. And actually, George Plaza's original Judd was actually an E36 Judd, which was rebuilt and raced at Goodwood in 2017, and the team actually came third in memorial to George Plaza, who was killed obviously 6 years previously. If you haven't seen that, anybody, it's on YouTube, go and have a look at it. It's absolutely marvellous. But 10,200 RPM these engines rev to, 570 horsepower, although I believe in Race Room, which is what we're on tonight, it's been detuned slightly to about 480, but they put a plus sign next to it, which, well, you know, who knows what that means in Race Room. And of course, everyone's in the same livery, basically. Hockenheimring, well, pretty much everyone knows about Hockenheimring. About 50 miles south of Frankfurt. This is the short track that we're watching. 1.63 miles, 2.6k, 11 corners, 6 right, 5 left, 1 extended parabolica, and there are 4 named locations. And when we jump into someone in the race, we'll mention what those are. Yeah. So I don't think we need to waffle on about the track anymore. What are you looking for tonight, Speed? I know you've got to shoot off later on, but as usual, it's always a great night, isn't it? Oh, we're missing flags, look.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing these cars race together. Normally with hill climbs cars, you don't really see them race side by side. So it'll be nice to see how they react, you know, racing close.
Yeah, I agree. And we're going to have to rely very much more on the stream and our race director to identify who we're looking at. Usually we get used to the liveries, and it's, you know, the race director is not always right, to be honest with you. That's just part of the coding. Sometimes we're looking at somebody and the screen says it's Mr. X, but actually it turns out to be Mr. Y. But there we go. So we've got a guest in tonight. We've got Taha Marley. I'm not sure of the flag. It's a red flag with a gold star in the middle. Do apologise.
Turkey, I think it is.
Turkey? No, it's not. It's the sickle, isn't it?
You should have rubber, it tells you. Remember.
Well, I've got nothing on my race director at the minute at all, actually.
Yeah, I think he's Turkish, from what I remember. Obviously, he raced with us in the GT3 leagues. Obviously, gave me a good run for the money in the first league, and obviously gave Brandon, myself, and Rigel Rodders a good run in the second GT3 league we did on Race Room.
Yeah.
Very quick guy.
All right. Well, look, we're going to ride with Taha.
Morocco. Sorry.
Oh, and they're away. Oh, and we've already got someone going off there. Not quite sure who that was. I think that was Rodders. There's about 3 or 4 of them that have gone off there. The thing with these, this Judd, if you put your and there's mayhem out there. When you watch George Plaza on YouTube, on the many videos there, you'll see that when he pulls away very, very slowly. Speed. I know this has got launch control. It's got a 6-speed gearbox, 4 clutches, but there's so much power going to such a small frame that it will just throw you off on it.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable amount, a beast to tame. It's like strapping 10 rockets to your ball sacks and going for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we're watching Taha, our guest from the red country with a star. Someone
Morocco.
let me know where that is. Morocco. Well, welcome to you from Morocco, and welcome back to RWB. And he's streaming ahead, isn't he? We've got another guy there. I think he's Belgium from Peterman, Martin Peterman. No, he's German actually. Then of course we've got the trackmaster Rigel, currently in 3rd place. Game of Smug. See there. Yeah, I don't know about you, Speed, but I'm not getting any camera views whatsoever. I've got no control of any cameras.
I've got cameras. Try me question. Would you want to go on board?
Okay, technical hitch, here we go. No cameras. I've got no cameras. Sod it, I don't need cameras. Who are we looking at? We're looking at Rigel, currently running in 3rd place. Rigel has just pulled out a 1:37.2 compared to Taha's at 1:35. So Taha's significantly quicker, and you can see the gap there as they just go through this penultimate corner and coming down this straight. Is that the straight there? No, we're coming into the. Where are we now? We're coming to the skid curve. That's where we are. Yeah, it really would be helpful if we had different views to be able to identify where we are. We've just gone through Mobile 1 and it looked like he almost went off then. I'm not sure what happened there, whether that was a bit of lag.
Sorry to say, but I think it's time for the demon to leave the box and go and do his business.
Right, Speed. Well, as ever, it was a pleasure, and yeah. Well, there we go. Goodbye, Speed. Thanks very much, and good luck with some real life stuff that you're dealing with at the minute, which is we're all wishing you the best of luck. You don't need it anyway. Lots of lag out by Taha there. I hope that's not affecting everyone else. I'm certainly got no control over the cameras. Okay, so I tell you that right now. I've got no control over the cameras. What about if I put it on auto direct? And I think that's probably where we'll end up going, and I'll just have to give you a heads up on top. Okay, so I can control the cameras, I can control the TV view only. That's better than nothing. And there we are, we're watching Taha now. Just pulled out a 1:35.6. We've got 4 minutes left of the race. Behind him is this man, Martin Peterman. Martin is running, 1.8 seconds behind him, but right behind him, the Chief Trackmaster, Rigel, from the Game of Smug, Chief Smug from Planet Smug, who only operates in smug time. Rigel there in 3rd place. 4th place we've got Nut back with us. Always good to see you, Nut. Had some great races with us. Nut's also from Germany. Then we've got Fergie, our resident unicorn. Did I say that? Good grief. It's only because he's got a unicorn on Discord. I'm not sure what all that's about, Fergie. Educate me, please. But Fergie, really great in 5th position currently. And Fergie's just, in fact, Fergie hasn't had any laps yet that have set a time. So undoubtedly he's had some warnings. On the stream, we don't get to see that, which is a bit of a shame. Shout out to those guys in YouTube chat. Hey Gabsy, hey Madley. Good to see you boys there. No, not streaming it from my PC. Gabsy, this is all the RWB setup. There just seems to be a bit of a bug in the system at the minute. Currently running in 6th is our resident senior lad, Charger. Great news, folks, on Charger. As you know, he's just recently had his 68th birthday. As he looks into the inside there, loses that position to Rick Binnersley. But as we know, he's just had his 68th birthday, and he actually turned down his bus pass when he was originally issued it. Genuinely, he has now accepted that. So we're really pleased that he's off the roads and now using public transport. Good man. Rodders, from that little hassle at the beginning there, we can see him running in 8th. Rodders just put in a 1:32.277. Now, what is that in parity to this man, Taha? Well, I'll tell you what it is, 2.5 seconds. This guy's 2.5 seconds than our other track master in RWB. So this is absolutely great. I know Rodders will be really annoyed with that start, because he would have wanted to have been mixing it up with this guy and actually see the back of another car in front of him all the time. Speed's been helping me in the commentary box. Marco currently running in 9th again. Good to see Marco. Marco, one of our longest standing RWB members, who drops in and out every now and then. That's great to see him. Remember, of course, the whole point of these Thursday nights is to get you together and to open our doors to the community. Race clean, race for position, race fair, respect other people, and of course enjoy yourself. So that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do all 5 races, or you have to do all, every Thursday night. You can jump in and do as little or as much as you like. Then we've got this man, Orange. Now, I think this is Ben Davis. Now, Ben, you need to get a grip of your naming conventions, old boy. 1 minute you're Audi, then you're Al, now you've changed to Orange. Personally, I think you should change it to blue. Orange doesn't suit you. Good to see you. He's our controller man. Timo, back with us again. Always good to see Timo, as he just takes Evil there. Sorry, as Evil just takes Timo. Then, of course, we've got Luca. Again, good to see Luca there. I think Luca had a problem at the beginning. Cos the Wise, who actually should rename himself to Mr. Geppetto and Pinocchio, the wise old owl. Then we've got Pinpoint. Pinpoint with his new Fanatec podium. Good to see Pinpoint out there. And we've got FX, who's retired, and also Darren King, who's also retired. So there we go then. Back onto Auto Director. And there we go. We can see in the last throes of the race, Taha now coming to finish his last lap. As we see him now come all the way down. Into the Mobile 1, no, short of the Mobile 1 curve, isn't he? He's coming into the Mobile 1 curve now, I believe. Yep, that's Mobile 1. And down into the Satch curve. In fact, that's wrong as well. Good grief. This is what happens when you don't have the right sort of view. But now he's coming up into the final corner, the Mobile 1 curve. Now he's going down into Satch curve. Into Satch curve, sort of a parabolica with a bit of a kink on the outside, almost like a mini, sort of an extended chicane, a sweeping to the left and then to the right, and then into the penultimate corner, a 90 right, into the final 90 right, Sud curve, and then onto the main straight where he'll take the win. Great, Martin Pellman goes in second. Then we've got their Nut crossing in fourth. Rodders coming around the final corner, Sud curve, to take fifth. Great charge there from the problem at the beginning there. Marco in sixth. Fergie in seventh. Crikey. Orange in 10th. Binnersley in 10th. Sorry. Timo in 12th. And so on and so on. So yeah, so there you go. So that's the first race. So I guarantee you these guys would have learnt one thing from this car, and that's you just can't put your boot flat to the floor. It's going to bite you. It's got so much power. It is a Formula One car in the shape of a BMW 1 Series. So that's why it sounds like a Formula One car. It is a Formula One car. It is one of the best hill climb cars that have ever been created under the wonderful imagination of George Plaza, rest in peace. Okay, so that was round 1. So there's our winner there, Tahar Mali, excuse me if I pronounce it wrong. Then Martin Peterman, John Haig, Rigel, and Matheson, Rodders, Charger, Marco, Ferguson, Orange, and down to 10th place, Rick Finnison. So where are they next? Remember that they don't know where the next track is. The next track is Suzuka. That's right, Suzuka in Japan. Ino near Suzuka City. This is the GP circuit, which is 3.6 miles or 5.8 kilometers long. It's got 16 corners. 9 of those are right, 7 of those are left. It's got 1 chicane, 1 hairpin, 1 underpass. It's got fast sweepers. It's undulating, as you can see here as we're watching whoever that is. I'm afraid I have no control, whoever that is. It's undulating, and what's interesting about this circuit is that it's a figure of 8 format, and it's got 12 name locations around there. It's the #1 circuit in Japan. And you could say that it's challenged by its status, if you like, by Motor Guy and Fuji, but basically it holds its own as one of the greatest racing circuits amongst racing drivers. Okay, now let's see whether we've got live on our race director. Let's have a go. Bugger me, no. So we've got no other camera view apart from TV. That will have to do as we watch Rodders now. And clearly I'm not going to be accurate when it comes to, well, I'll try to be. So look, now. Okay, let's follow Rodders. All right, Rodders is now going. Okay, so let me get my bearings here. Bearings. So he's coming around the last corner. He's gone through the chicane. So he's now going down the main straight. Right, let's follow Rodders. Let me take you around. Come on, Rodders, keep going, son. Thank you. Okay, into the first corner, which guess what is, oh, bugging me sideways. Well, we're on to qualifying anyway, aren't we? We'll take it from there. Okay, riding with Audi. That's who we're going to ride with. No, we're not. Riding with Cos. So around the first corner. This is the first corner, and guess what? It's called first corner. Then we go into a section called the Snake. You've got a left-hander first, then a right-hander, then a left-hander, then a right-hander, and eventually goes round the banked curve called the Dunlop curve. Not yet, not yet. The Dunlop curve is a left-hander. You can see it. This is the Dunlop curve here, Dunlop curve, and it goes into a right kink, which is just going through. That's still the Dunlop curve. Into a right kink there, and then down the hill towards the Denga corner, where the motorcycle rider Denga was horrifically burnt and injured there in the I think it was the 70s. He was actually a defector from East Germany to Japan. So now they've gone through the hairpin, known as the hairpin. Now this corner here, or this sweeping bend, is known as the 200 right. Very, very fast sweeper. Up to the spoon curve, which I don't know how to pronounce this. I don't know how to describe the spoon curve. It's a left-hander. It's like a wide parabolica into a hairpin. A couple of apexes on it. You can carry a lot of speed for it, but if you get it wrong, it'll bite you. Along to the back stretch now, and at the end of the back stretch, you've got that infamous 130 right, which is actually to the left. There, where it goes Cos through that now. short straight, and then into what they call the casino triangle, which is actually the chicane with a right entry. Why on earth did that happen there? Not quite sure what happened there. Maybe a bit of early braking, not quite sure. Thanks FX, noticed your point on the stream there. Don't worry about it, that's perfectly fine. You go back to racing. We've got TV cameras and that will do us. We're no the fact we haven't got any driving cameras tonight will not prevent us from enjoying the race. So there we go. That was a circuit not short of the Casio triangle, sorry, where Cos all of a sudden slammed on the anchors from what I saw. But there we go. So that was a lap of Suzuka. Yeah, really good circuit, this one. So now no times have been set yet. Now we've only got 6 minutes in qualifying to get round. Now that's a fast lap out and then one lap, and Race Room doesn't allow you to finish that lap and the lap time be counted. So when you consider you've only got it's a 3.6 mile circuit, you've only really at best got one go at it. That's it. You're not going to get 3 goes around here, and you're going to have to make both your out lap and your qualifying lap good laps, and you can't afford to waste any time. Now on the Thursday nights, a reminder, default setups, no tyre wear, no fuel, no mandatory pit stop, and the rules regarding racecraft is slightly lax, and by that I mean that no one's going to put up with any on purpose driving like an idiot, like someone who should be on a bus pass, for example. Did I just say that? But you know, if there's a bit of door scraping, there's a bit of door scraping. This is where you learn your racecraft. You learn your racecraft here on a Thursday night, racing with everybody. As we see Charger there go through with the first qualifying time of a 154.959, 154.962. Just been pipped by Orange, who now is to be known as Blue, 154.959. So yeah, so well done Charger. Charger now dropped down to third, and then we go to the track master, who's just the Charger there, headbutt the wall, because obviously Border's staying out there now. He's got 1 minute 29 left. Charger's in one of those Vasaro rigs that's thrown him around, and it's actually giving his bones osteoporosis. They're crumbling to chalk the amount of times he's been beaten up in that chair. Let's move on to someone. I said that Rodders just qualified as well, 153.287. Down to Martin Peterman, who's qualified with a 155.239. So actually, you know, using Charger as an example, 154.962, you know, he's not quite that far off it, is he? Because you know, Rodders is very quick. You know, he's a track master. So that was a good run there by Charger. Not sure what's happening to Charger. I'm hoping he's in the pits rather than disconnected. Oh dear. I'm hoping he's not disconnected. I'm hoping he's sitting in the car swearing. I'd like to think so. Cool. So we've got 31 seconds left of the qualifying period before we go into the race. Yeah, everybody knows Suzuka. Even you know Suzuka. Everybody, every boy particularly knows Suzuka. Girls know Suzuka nowadays because it's 2019 and we're all equal. But boys of my era in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, you would have got a scale electric at some point, or like me, went round your mate's house because you never had anything, and sat there and watched him play his scale electric. Well, the first scale electric was designed on the figure of 8 circuit, which was Suzuka. So there we go. Earlier on I mentioned Ernest Denga. I haven't got a date for that. If anyone can tell me when it was, let me know. But I do seem to remember Denga Corner was named after that motorcycle rider who was horrifically burnt just before the underpass, actually. I'm sure it was in the 70s. I think it was in the 70s. Yeah, I think you're right, Gabsy, actually. The chair has evicted Charger. Not difficult. Guy only weighs about 3.5 pounds nowadays as a result of his bones being mashed by that Vasaro rig. And of course, being 68, he's seriously getting on some. So, yeah, he probably has been thrown out the chair. Cool. So 20 seconds left to go for them to get on. We know when it's ready to go. All the details come up there, as we can see. We're now looking at the leader, Rodders. Looks like he's angled in slightly, which clearly is not, and they're away. So a few, and look, already we've got someone that's spun off, and that's what's going to happen with these cars. If you don't manage the throttle on the 134 V8 Judd with 500 and something odd horsepower in a car that weighs 800 kilos and revs to 10,200 RPM, guess what's going to happen to you? You're not going to be sitting in the seat. You're going to be shoved against the side of the wall as you end up headbutting the wall with the nose of that 1 Series. Rodders then out in front, behind him, leading away. Rodders leading to Orange, Mr. Blue. Rigel in 3rd place. Fergie close up behind in 4th place, with Audi in 5th. And looks like someone. I think they just managed to hold their place there. I think that was Audi. Nut close behind in 5th place. It was Fergie that we saw there lose that position there. Fergie is now being challenged by Charger, who I think is a little bit faster out of that corner there, by the looks of things. Yep. And Charger will challenge him coming around here, there's no question about that. Right behind Charger, another guest tonight, Stefano Marazzi. There's Stefano, just gone off. Oh dear, what a shame. And of course, Cos, just thanks very much, he says, as he climbs up 2 places and takes Luca and Stefazi's positions. Luca challenging Martin Peterman there, and in fact, yeah, he did take Luca did take Martin. So Luca and Martin in 10th and 11th. Timo had that problem at the beginning there, running 16th at the minute. Timo's a fast. Don't let this dissuade you. Timo can hold his own out there. Back to 1st place. Rodders then just done a 157.8 versus. Sadly, we've this man here, who very clearly was a track master on the last circuit at Hockenheim, currently running 15th. I think he had a problem at the beginning. It'd be interesting to see how he is on the other 3 races, but Rodders commanding a bit of a lead there with only 5 minutes and 27 seconds left. He's got, what's that? Let's have a look now. He's got 0.9 of a second on Mr. Blue, on Ben Davis, who is being challenged, as you would expect, by Rigel. But right behind Rigel, of course, is Audi. And if there's one thing I know about Audi's tactic, apart from racing hard, of course, is that he will very happily challenge Rigel, or as we say, that was Rigel sticks to Mr. Orange there, as if they were both glue sniffers. But Audi will quite happily let them fight it out, and he will exploit an opportunity, undoubtedly, if one is not afforded to him by virtue of his speed being faster than the 2 in front. But crikey, he's got Ryder in front of him and Mr. Blue. They're not slow, and out in front at the minute, Rodders, the commanding lead of 1.9 seconds now on Mr. Orange, who very clearly, as I changed, has overtaken Rigel, but gone wide into Casio triangle, which has allowed, and there you go, there you go. Audi just said, thanks very much, Mr. Orange, make your mind up what you're called, and as a result of that, I'll take 3rd position off of you. But Mr. Orange there will have a go, undoubtedly, no question about that. He'll have a go. I'll keep an eye on that, but let's see what's going on down the field here, because Fergie, as he goes wide and loses the position to Charger, I believe. In fact, Charger just slipped in behind him. Charger's got Evil behind him, who nobody wants Evil behind him. Having Evil behind you is like going into the showers and seeing Rocco Siffredi come in and there being no women in there. You would not want that man behind you. There's no question about that. So Charger undoubtedly will be doing one of 2 things. 1, driving as fast as he possibly can, and 2, not looking in his mirror. He knows that Evil is there, and that's what happens. Racing pressure, and off goes Charger at the Dengi corner. Cos, good position for Cos. Cos running in ninth, but again under pressure because right behind Cos is Martin Peterman, and right behind Peterman is Luca Gro. Somehow Charger managed to keep that position there after coming off at Degner corner. But, you know, lost 6 seconds essentially. But of course, right behind Charger now is Martin Peterman, who was significantly much far behind. But as a result of a bit of commentators' curse and Charger going off, he's now right up there, isn't he? Cos now in 10th position, and right behind him he's got you know, who is very clearly very fast and a bit of a track master, Taha Malik from Morocco, our guest tonight. Do come back, Taha, if you haven't raced with us before. You've raced really well here tonight in that first race, and as I said, looking forward to see what you've got for the next 3. Rodders then. Lap 4, 2 minutes and 2 seconds left, just going through what is the S's, or the snake, and look at that, 2.8 seconds, 2.9 seconds, 3 seconds. I'm willing to bet, apart from the fact that he's a track master and very, very quick, that he's done a lot of hours and a lot of practice and a lot of refinement with throttle control and positioning in preparation for the F1 league that's due to start on Saturday. And something would have clicked if it had not have done before, that essentially you should just ignore that shell. And notwithstanding the sort of downforce differential, which when you put your foot down in that thing there, Race Room manages, simulates downforce very well, and that has got shed loads of downforce on it. I'm willing to bet that he's just, you know, racing that car almost like it's an open wheeler. And as a result, look, 3.2 seconds in front of that man, which is quite something. And of course, Mr. Blue, Mr. Blue, no, because Audi took him, didn't he, going through Spoon Curve. So Audi up into 3rd place now, and Mr. Blue has dropped down, you know, 1.7 seconds. Audi now challenging. Rigel, 1.4, 1.3, 1.2, into the 1.30 right, and up into Casio Triangle. Will he try and outbrake him? No. Gets through that triangle cleanly, and then down and actually through the last corner, which, guess what, love the Japanese, is called last curve, and along down into the main straight. At the end of the main straight you come into the first corner, and guess what that's called? First corner. Good grief. Through the first corner then. You see it's a I don't even know what to call that corner. It's not a parabolica, it's not a curve, it's not a sweeper, it's not a hairpin. It's almost got 3 apexes on it when you actually look at it on the map. And I had a bit of a recce today with Google Maps and looked at it in real life. Looked at it in real life, and it is, you know, almost a 3 apex corner. It's quite extraordinary. Leaving Rodders. We go back to Rodders, as Rodders on the last lap now, going through Degner corner, under the underpass, up to the hairpin. It's a really tight hairpin and does catch a lot of people out. Very, very tight hairpin. And down into the 200 right, which is very, very quick. You can really go flat out along here. And actually, you know, your racing line is important, but that corner is so wide and so sweeping and so gentle that it's almost irrelevant, because what is important is the entry to this corner that we've just seen Rodders go through, which is Spoon Curve, which again, you know, has got 2 apexes on, so you need to sort of, you know, you almost need to go wide in the centre to be able to come in and click the apex on for the exit. As we see Rodders now go through 130 right, and down into Casio Triangle, the chicane, and into the last curve, before going along the straight a good 3.4 seconds in front of Rigel to take the win. Well done, Rigel. 3rd place and 4th place for Audi. Audi will be pleased with that. That man won't be. He'll be quite annoyed with himself, I'm sure, Mr. Orange, because he was having a fantastic race, and just one small error is all it takes. And of course, you wouldn't want anybody to take advantage of that, and I'll tell you who will take advantage, and that will be Audi. Of course, he did. Auto director's gone now, so I mean we're zipping through the cars as we just see Evil there take Cos at the last one of the last corners, well, just coming into the last curve at Casio Triangle to take 11th place. Well done to him. Excellent. Well, there we have it then. That was race 2. So, where are we next? Well, bit of a Marmite track, this one. Bit of a Marmite track. We're going to Europe. We're going to the old East Europe. We're going to the Hungaroring. Hungary, 20 k's north of the capital, Budapest, the GP circuit. And when we transition through, I'll introduce you to it. Because I'm on my own, I don't want you to die from my dulcet tones. I will give you a forced break of 7 seconds while I drink my coffee. That was 11. Right, there we go, transition then. Into Hungaroring. Hungary, 20 k's north of the capital, Budapest. This is the GP circuit, this one, gents and ladies, if any ladies watching. Who are we going to ride with? Let's, in fact, we won't ride with anyone. It's a 1 minute practice, so that gives me time to explain some things about the track. Let's just put it onto Martin there. So 2.7 miles, 4.38k. This is the GP circuit, 16 corners, 9 are right, 7 left, 1 chicane, 2 parabolicas, 1 extended parabolica, which is where you got the entry and exit at acute angles, and 16 locations around the track, which are simply known only as turn 1 to essentially turn 14, with turn 12A in there, and also turn 1A. Such a shame. Such a real shame that a circuit doesn't invest in giving corners names. It should do. There are plenty of great racing drivers, male and female, throughout the years who have died for the sake of the sport and for what it is that they love. And personally, you know, I've got no time for anybody who's either a bluffer, whinger, whiner, liar, prima donna or thief. And I've also got no time for circuits who can't be bothered to name corners. So my research is either wrong, or someone please point me in the right direction for a track map where I've got corner names on it. Cool, let's ride with somebody. Let's ride with Marco. Let's ride with Marco as we go around Hungary. Into turn 1, quite a double apex. You've got to get the entry right in order to come out to have some a fair bit of speed into turn 1A. We can see him go through now. Into the first of the parabolicas, the extended parabolica. This is turn 2 with a right kink on the exit leg. There we go. Into turn 3. Down the hill and then back up the hill as we see him come up into turn 4. A slight kink. And then into turn 5, another extended parabolica with an extended acute legs either side, through turn 5, exit turn 5, into turn 6 and 7, which is a right entry chicane, exit on the left, bit of a straight, about 250 metres into turn 8, a left-hander, there he is, and into a right-hander, turn 9. Down into a short, shallow left-hander, turn 10, and then into a 90 right, turn 11, which you can take fairly quickly. Down a long straight now, about 400 yards, downhill slightly into a 90 right, turn 12, and then a left kink as we see Marco go through there, turn 12A, into the parabolica, turn 13. Really catches people out coming into this next parabolica as we then exit with a sort of a tight old apex on the corner there at the end of the exit, and then along the main straight and crossing the line. That's a lap of Hungary. It's a Marmite track, this. Why is it a Marmite track? Well, if you ask racing drivers or you search around racing drivers forums and you ask for and you scour posts as I've done with regards to Hungaroring, you'll find that actually the surface, part of this track, the surface is still exactly as it was when it was laid in 1985. Well, what can we take away from that? Well, Hungary was still behind the Iron Curtain at that point, and this was actually part of a tourism strategy to get people to come to Hungary, because of course the Berlin Wall was still up, the Iron Curtain was still in effect. The Berlin Wall didn't come down until March 1989, so you know, by then of course countries in the eastern part of the Iron Curtain were struggling financially, economically, and tourism was one way in which they could maintain their Eastern Bloc values, but at the same time, you know, earn money into their GDP. So one of the things they wanted to do was, you know, bring in the money that was that comes alongside with Formula One, and that's exactly the strategy behind Hungaroring. It only took 8 months to build this track. 8 months from nothing, from a building site. Now look, I don't know about you, but it's taken my local council 9 months to put a bloody bus shelter up, let alone 8 months for an enormous 4.3k circuit. So, you know, that just gives you some sort of idea the amount of resources, impetus, and political drive there was to create this this racing circuit. And the first winner around here was Nelson Piquet, 1986, to the first what we can call large crowd, which was 200,000 people. 200,000 people watched Nelson Piquet win the first F1 race around here in March 1986. Now, I said it was a Marmite track, and the reason for that is because it's actually settled in a bowl, and you can see that by the steep steep sides there of the hills. And as we dive into this sort of go downhill, don't we, into sort of pretty much, you know, from turn 4 all the way to turn 11 is at the lowest point. And when you're in a natural bowl like that, it will collect dust, crap, rain, and you name it. And the track surface has suffered a great deal over the years, and the original surface that was used is still underlaid. It's never been dug up. So this track has not got as much traction as a track should have, and F1 drivers either love it or hate it. Now I can't tell you whether that's modelled in this sim race room or not. What I can tell you is that it is modelled the sort of optimum wear and optimum grip areas. It is modelled in iRacing. So if you're an iRacer and you go around Hungaroring, don't think that you can come into race room and be as quick straight off, because you'll probably find it will be a standard grip level all the way around. But in iRacing, it's not. Cool. There we go then. That's qualifying completed. 30 seconds left. Currently Martin is leading, which is great to see him up there, 1:37. Put that into context, down to Stefano. Stefano doing a 1:40.018. Charger just done a 1:41.323. Marco, who we were following for a while, was 1:41.694. So, you know, that's a 4-5 second gap there, which is fairly significant. We can see that on the screen from 1 to 11. Yeah, 1:37.954 down to a 1:41. 3.7 seconds down to Fergie, which is a huge amount. One of the busiest circuits in Europe. Yep, this one right here has hosted the lot. F1, DTM, World Touring Cars, GT Opens, World Renaults, Open Wheelers, Historic, you name it. It's all done from here. And tonight, of course, it's going to be our location for 134 V8 Judd on Audi's Mini League on our Wednesday session. One car, 5 tracks, short qualifying, short race. Race clean, race fair, race for position, respect each other, enjoy yourself, open the doors, in you come. If you haven't got anywhere to race, come race here and enjoy it. Apart from me, monkey balls here, who doesn't, because I get just as much of a kick out of this as I probably do out there smashing into them fellas. Red lights are on then. So 8-minute race and the red lights are out. currently in first place. Martin, I think we'll keep. And look, there's some trouble at the back there. I'm not going to look at them. We can see 4, 5 aside there. Looks like Mala, Cos, Fergie all had problems at the end there. Martin has lost his first place down to this man, Rigel, the chief track master, currently out leading with Audi close behind him, 0.13 of a second into the first parabolica there. Turn 3. Through turn 3, down the hill, up to the left-hander kink, which will always catches people out, and then into the extended parabolica, turn 5. As we see Martin there, just taking a little bit of a nudge there on Audi, but I'm afraid we have to be something a bit better than that, Martin. I'm afraid, as they hopefully all go through the chicane as they do. Oh dear, I was just about to say Audi, you know, having a great couple of races so far, and you know, always good to see him chasing, and you know, guess what happens? Goodbye, good night. So back to the front then. Rodders now is now into second place and hunting down his namesake, his trackmaster brother, this man Rigel, who's currently leading significantly, well, 2.1 seconds as Rigel just comes around turn 14 and along the straight there. We see Rodders just exiting the last corner, and Martin Peter behind him. Nut, Charger, Orange, Stefano, all in the same section now. Rodders into turn 1. Sorry, Rigel into turn 1. That little kink there as he turns there, that's turn 1A. And then down, of course, into this extended parabolica. Rigel is pulling away from Rodders, I think. But of course, Rodders has got Martin Peterman right behind him, who is hunting him down. I'll keep an eye on those timings at the front there, but let's revisit somewhere else in the track. Right now, Orange is challenging Charger. Charger braking quite hard and quite early there. We saw that, and Orange was a lot more gradual around there. Oi, oi, oi! As you know, there we go. I was just about to say, I think that's Evil. I think that's Evil catching up, and yeah, guess what? So let's look at Rick then. Rick and Fergie. Fergie applying the pressure. Fergie loves his open wheelers. Fergie from Northern Ireland, our Northern Irish brother. Rick and Fergie really bringing it to each other there. As it looks like Fergie looks on the outside, looks on the inside. But watch out, Fergie, because look, you've now just lost. No. Who are we looking at there? We're looking at Rick. It was Fergie that got Rick. Well done, Fergie. Audi back in 15th position. That's all we'll say with that one. John Rigel now, and I missed something vital there, and that was that. No, I didn't. Rigel is maintaining his first position, but clearly you can see there Rodders and Martin are keeping their battle up. Now Martin is a 0.32928. So Martin is definitely keeping with Rodders at the same pace around here. Cars are all default setups, same, you know, there's no tyre wear, no fuel wear. So this is all about track knowledge, confidence, and your speed around here. Because Rodders brakes very hard coming into turn 6 and 7. And Martin has closed up to 0.11 at one point. So there is some serious action going on there. And Martin's not letting up, is he? No, Rodders is not used to having people behind him applying quite so much pressure. So I'm glad for him that Martin is bringing it to him. There's nothing better than seeing an angry Scotsman, because what happens is they put the foot down when they shouldn't and spin off. But you have to have more than a commentator's curse to bring it to Rodders, because he's too bloody good, to be frank. And talking of too good, as we you know, I'm tempted to move off these, but clearly they're having a great race. But you know what? There are other races out there. Look at this man here, the old man of the group. Has recently just announced that he's due to have his. He's got another baby coming. 68 and he's still firing. It's unbelievable. H-Tune, good to see H-Tune up there. We've got 17 runners out there. I don't think H-Tune was in the first couple of races, so H-Tune is out there on track. Orange has had a couple of problems, as we saw earlier on, but be careful, Orange, because Taha will bring it to you. Stefano, Luca and Marco, these three here, they're really having a lot of fun, aren't they? We're looking at Stefano there, but right in front of Stefano is Evil, and Luca has just taken Evil now. Just taken Stefano, sorry, and now Luca is hunting down Evil, which is great. They're having this race here. Orange here is being challenged by Taha as they're coming into turn 6 and turn 7. Taha really throwing it over those sausages. Never throw it over a sausage. You either cook a sausage or suck a sausage. You don't throw it over a sausage. Martin still applying pressure from the rear there into Rodders's behind as they're coming up to 1.5 minutes left, so they've got another lap in them for sure. Rodders has just pulled out a 1:38.118. What will he do on this lap as he crosses? Let's see now. That was a 1:37.683, which is the best lap so far for Rodders. The fastest lap has been a 1:37.054 from 1:37.504 by John Haig, by Rigel. Rigel out in the front there, on his own, empty track, smug as you like, because he's got a 2.5 second gap to Rodders, who's being hounded, isn't he, by Martin, who's not letting up. 0.21, 19, 18. So he's really very, very close to him. I wish I could drive, wish I could be in the cockpit with him, but it's just not happening. So plenty of pressure on there, but plenty of pressure on here as well, as we see Taha here take Orange. Take H-Tune and still challenging Orange. Evil, smack bang in the middle of a sandwich there, being challenged by Luca Gray. Evil's got Fergie in front of him, so these three are having their own battle. They know that 13 seconds left through turn 6 and 7, they're not going to. The only thing they can do is hold their positions, and if an opportunity shows, improve on it. Now, just as we click into, what a shame, just as I click into them, Martin, now he allows Rodders through. That's absolutely the right thing to do. Well done to you, Martin, excellent racecraft. You raced hard, but I think on that moment, the fault was with you, and I think that was a good bit of racecraft there. Race clean, race fair, race for position, respect other people and enjoy yourself. You're just in a perfect example of all of those attributes. And that is why RWB is such a special group, because they are fundamental to what RWB is all about. Now, if you're interested in that, then come along and race with us. If you just want to muck about and drive into other people and go the wrong way around the circuit, then there are plenty of other groups out there who will entertain that, but we certainly won't. Great. So we're watching Marco now come round the last corner, turn 14. And cross the line in 14th position. Behind him, Koz, Timo, and lastly Audi. What a shame Audi was doing so very well, wasn't he? So there you go. That concludes then what was essentially the third race tonight. Now, I am going to drag one person in tonight for driver of the night, spirit of the race award, to have a chat with them. Of course, the scores on the doors will be dealt with by someone else in the chat channel where everyone else is currently in at the minute. Where are we going to now, folks? Let's go west a few hundred miles. We're going to Germany. We're going to the Norris Ring. The Norris Ring. Southeast of the city of Nürburgring. Nürburgring of Nuremberg. It's actually in Nuremberg. It's a street circuit, 1.42 miles, 2.3 kilometres. Quite an unusual track. 6 corners, 2 right, 4 left, 1 parabolica, 1 hairpin, 1 S-curve. And without doubt, this is the most surreal racing circuit in the world. Now, oh, sorry, Rodders. Oh dear. Now, there's 2 surreal racing circuits in the world. One of them is Monaco, where you can have a nice chicken sandwich and or a roast dinner and or a pint in the pub, lean over the balcony and watch the Formula 1 race. And the other one, in complete contrast, is this one, Norris Ring. And that's because during the build-up, the lead-in, and during World War II, Norris Ring was designed by the Nazi Party. And this was where Adolf Hitler had all of his infamous Nuremberg rally speeches. In fact, the whole track goes around a central concrete edifice, which is actually known as the Stein Tribune. And this was the podium where Adolf Hitler would give his speeches to. The madman of the 20th century would give his speeches and rally support of the of everybody, essentially. Now, not everybody gave their support, it's fair to say. A lot of them were press ganged, and if they didn't show support, they just got shot. It's as simple as that. But this whole circuit, actually, now we see motor cars and bikes going around here. But once upon a time, this were tanks, troops marching, and all the hardware of war would parade around here, and the variation of this track, past the leaders, the exec committee of the Nazi Party, the Socialist Party, as it was before the Nazi Party, but paraded in front of Adolf Hitler. So, yeah, so that's all I'm going to say about it. So that's why it's quite surreal, because actually it hasn't changed much. They've put a few markings on the road, they've put a few barriers up, but essentially it's still the same. The first motor race, however, around here came after the war, was part of the Rebuild Germany initiative, and was actually instigated by the American forces. They provided all the fuel and opened up the track to everybody. Come along, bring your cars, let's have some racing. And the American forces provided all of the fuel, and people turned up and they had their first race here. 25,000 people filled the grandstand, which was built on top of the Stein Tribune where Hitler was. Where he used to give his speeches from, and 60,000 people over a course of a whole weekend turned up to watch the sort of informal racing. So I mean, you know, something great came out of something so bloody awful by binding people together. And it wasn't long after that they renamed this area from the Nuremberg track, as it was called, the Nuremberg circuit, to the Norris Ring, which is an ancient term. An ancient village name, ancient town name, city name actually, ancient city name for Nuremberg was Norrisburg, so that's why it's called the Norris Ring. Nowadays it hosts various different events, German DRM Open Wheel, or the old German DRM, sorry, I mean it's DRM now as it's DTM, but they've done DTM, sports cars, bikes, F3 Euro Series, much happier times as a result of, you know, such a surreal and evil instigation of its birth way back in essentially 1938. So 3 minutes left of qualifying. What have we got so far? What can I tell you? Well, this is a short track, you know, 1.42 miles, 2.3 k's, as I said earlier on. Quite a lot fitted into it. Parabolica, a hairpin, 1 S-curve. We're currently watching Rodders. Let's flick to somebody that we haven't seen tonight. Let's flick to Evil. Let's ride with Evil. So let's get our bearings. Where is Evil? Evil's coming along the main straight at the minute, I believe. Let me get my bearings now. Of course I haven't. So Evil has now gone round the hairpin. This is the Dutzendeutsch curve, or the hairpin. Bit of a left-hander, and then into a 90 right. and then a 90 left. Oh no, he's along the main straight, isn't he? He's along the main straight. Into the first parabolica, the only parabolica, sorry, which is the Grundig corner. Bit of a sweeping left-hander, and then we go into the S-curve, which is a 90 right and a 90 left, as we see him just enter now. Into the 90 right, exit on the 90 left, another straight with a right-hand kink, you can just see it at the end of that view there, into the hairpin, the Dutzendeutsch corner, the hairpin, which catches a lot of people out by the way in which the hairpin is situated on that corner. It's actually on a slope, so if you turn in where you think the apex is, you will actually find that the apex is further to the right in the blind spot in the dead ground, and you will end up hitting the barrier. Now hopefully no one will hit that tonight, but I can almost guarantee someone will. So if you've never raced around here before, load it up and give it a try, but watch that hairpin because it's a blind apex in dead ground. And also very short times around here. You know, Rodders has just done a 47.746. Evil has just done a 46.966. And the slowest around here is Timo currently with a 49.204. So, you know, it's only 1.4 miles and you're ranging from 46 to 49. So this is, in my view, the best type of circuit. There's someone who's had a problem there. This is the best type of circuit for short races because there's short lap times, plenty of action. And the very point of the Thursday evening races is to load up those tracks that actually don't get as much usage in general as others, and also some of the cars as well. You know, this particular car, the 134 Judd, is an individual car used for hill climb. You know, you're not going to, you know, in sim racing you try to replicate real leagues or semi-realistic leagues. Well, you'd never have a league all of 134 V8 Judds in the 1 Series shell. That's just not going to happen. Well, it can here on a Thursday night, and that's the great thing. Great, so there we go. So we've now got 50 odd seconds for them to get on track. Anyone got any ideas for who's our racer of the event is tonight that I can drag down and have a chat to afterwards? Yeah, if you have got someone you want me to speak to, anyone in general, just let me know in the chat there. Failing that, I'll pick someone out. "20 seconds remaining." Okay. 17 runners then. Currently we're looking at, let's go midfield. We're going to look at Rick Binnersley. Looking at Rick Binnersley then. And we've already got someone off, that's Fergie. Fergie is off at the back there. We're looking at Rick Binnersley. Rick 2-3 wide, coming into the first corner, the Grundig corner. And there's an absolute pile up. There's an orgy of 134 Judds going around there. There'll be, Jesus. Keep it together, boys. Into the S-curve. Right entry, then a left exit. As we see Rick there, currently in 5th position. Down into the sweeping right to that Dutzendeutsch hairpin. Remember, it's blind. There we go. I'm willing to bet someone will come a cropper there. As we see Rick now coming up to complete his first lap in a time of 56.057 versus Rodders 51.250. Now, of course, you know, it's paradoxical, is it not, that, you know, when you're out in front, you're always going to be quicker anyway, because guess what's in front of Rodders right now? Nobody. So you've got no traffic to deal with whatsoever. You haven't got to worry about anyone making a mistake and causing a pile up that we saw earlier on there coming into the Grundig corner. So you know, you can just pull away, and the fact that you're faster than everyone else is just going to give you that benefit. So how do you get around that? Well, you qualify well, but which again is very difficult to do when your qualifying times are when the qualifying session is only at 6 minutes. But that's what you take away from these Thursday nights, is that it's short qualifying and short races. So go out there and qualify well, or start from the back and wait for people to drive into blind corners, or essentially just do your best you can. But yeah. So back with Rick Binnersley then, as Rick goes around the Dutson ditch corner. I think everyone makes it around. We're now with Marco. No, you know, I wonder if anyone's going to hit that blind. Notice it, everybody is aware of it, aren't they? Great. With H-Tune in 17th. 16th position is Audi, currently chasing Fergie. 15th, currently chasing Nut and closing on Nut as well. As we see Fergie right on his rear haunches there. Fergie, I'm not sure what, that's actually incorrect who we're looking at there. Now we're looking at Nut. For future reference, if cameras don't work, I will probably close the stream, because it's, as we see someone there just go off. I think that was Marco. Let's have a look. Yep, 2 or 3 there. Undoubtedly would have been caused from one of 2 things. Either, oh crikey, who was that? Goodness gracious. We don't do that in RWB. Not quite sure what was happening there. Perhaps he was picking his feet, but we don't drive into people, not even to the side of them. Certainly not. This is RWB, not BBC or Channel 3. If you want to do that, go elsewhere, whoever that was. I'm not really interested who it was. Fact is, we don't do it. Anyway, okay, back to the race. Now, interestingly, Luca is now 0.15 seconds away from Evil. Luca really applying the pressure onto Evil. 0908.08 as Luca just looks on the inside, but Evil saying no thank you mate, I'm going to go deep. But Luca says, well, I'll go on the inside then. Now Evil has got the inside coming into the S-curve, but I think Luca has just popped it in front of him there. Yep, Luca has just taken 3rd away from Evil. Evil will be spitting out dead hamsters as a result of that. He always kills a few hamsters before a race. Before the secretary of the... Oh, as Luca cuts Evil, and then Rigel goes into the back of Evil, and now Evil's race is essentially finished. You know, there's 3 minutes left, and he's certainly not going to be in the top quadrants at this point. Let's have a look where Evil is. Let's see. Thank you, camera. Evil now has got, you know, 0.13 second away from Martin Peterman. He's right alongside him now. I think he's just managed to... What is going on with these cameras? There is Evil. Thank you. So Evil's got 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go to try and make some difference up. Well, he's got 5 seconds to Rick Binnersley and 1.5 seconds behind him. There, that man there, the Chief Trackmaster. So Evil, unlikely that you're going to climb higher than 7th in my view. Unless someone falls off the track, and it's easy to do, either on the entry there to the ditch corner, or by hitting the blind apex, or by too much power, you know, too soon. It's undulating, and that's what people are doing. The car's lighter, and as a result of that, the grip isn't there, and that's why people are spinning off. Can't take it away from this guy, Rodders now, but feeling the pressure from Taha, who's now back to the familiar place. God, very, very well held onto that corner there as the brakes up, but there, look at that. That's what happens. That's what happens when you put the boot down too quickly. And now poor old Taha is going to lose at least 6 positions. 6 positions, I reckon. There we go. He's in 7th now. He'll hold 7th, possibly 8th, all from 2nd position. And the fact that the race is only 8 minutes means that you really are up against it. You've got to be able to race clean, stay on the grey stuff, race fair, don't bump into people, race for position, clearly, because otherwise there's no bloody point doing it. Respect other people, that's the race craft, and enjoy it. Don't be sitting in the pit shouting and swearing like I do on Dirt Rally 2, otherwise there's no point. So if you follow the ethics of race clean, fair, for position, respecting other people and enjoying it, you should have a good race. If you compromise any one of those, particularly the top 3, then you've had it. You'll be right at the back. Now where's my old mate Charger? Here he is here. He's currently in 15th place, being chased by Marco. Fergie, who had an excellent race earlier on, but of course you saw it only takes one little bit to fall off the grey stuff, or too much power too quickly, and you're going to drop positions. But he had a great race in Hungaroring, there's no doubt about that. Stefano, our guest tonight, just taking the inside there, coming through the Grindy corner, which is great for him. Rigel now having a battle with Taha. Taha is 0.9 of a second behind Rigel, but you've not got enough time to go past Rigel, and you are very clearly talented, Taha. There's no question about that. I'd like to see you in one of our league races, but it is not your day here, I can assure you that one. Rodders then, coming, where is he now? Into the S curve. So he's on his last lap as he extends away with a commanding lead of 10.8 seconds. 10.8 seconds now, coming into the Dutsen ditch. And you can hear his engine, very slow progression. Sometimes slower is faster. And you know, interesting there, him putting the power down and sliding the car there just to see you know, how much grip it had. But I think I might have to kick Rodders out of the driving seat for a couple of these Thursdays and pull him into the commentary box purely to see how the others fare. But you can't take it away from him. I mean, that was a 10-second lead on Luca, and the reason why that existed, because he raced clean, raced fair, raced for position, qualified well. Guess what? What have I been saying? Plus, of course, the fact that he pours iron brew in his eyeballs, is a mad Scotsman and bloody quick. Cool, there we go. So there's the lineup. We've got 3 minutes left for everyone to get around, and you can see the final results there. Rodders in first, Luca in second, Martin in third, Mr. Blue, Al, Audi, Orange, Universal Joint Thumb Kid with Xbox controller, who does this. Ooh. When you look, when you show him a steering wheel, he goes, ooh, no. Rick Binnisley in fifth, Evil in sixth. You know, such a shame. Evil had that problem earlier on, but there we go. So on to the last race of the night. Last race, race 5. Race 5, Zhuhai Circuit in China. I'll say it in my best Chinese. Jingding in Guangdong province. I sounded so Chinese then, I could be forgiven for not having a paddy field instead of a back garden. You can get to the circuit actually straight from Hong Kong. So if you go on holiday to Hong Kong, then get on the ferry and zip across the water there, because Hong Kong is an island, just in case you didn't know that, on the coast of China. And you can literally land in the ferry, board, whatever it is, into the sort of circuit area. So you can get there from Hong Kong. GP circuit, this one, 2.68 miles, 14 corners, 4.3k. 14 corners around here. Guess what? Another one of those corners. They're just named corners. Turn 1, turn 2, turn, etc., etc. No time. I've got no time for circuits like that. Anyway, 10 right, 4 left, 1 hairpin around here, which is at turn 7. And there are, as I said, 14 named locations. Yeah. It's pretty much the first permanent racing facility in the People's Republic of China, and it's a real hub for the sort of racing scene, and it's hosted some semi-regular international events. It's the hub for the Chinese racing national racing scene. GT races in the mid-90s, and 200,000 spectators at that point. It was rebuilt in '96. Ironically, again. Let's see, who should we click onto now? Let's click onto Mr. Orange. We'll go around with Mr. Orange when he crosses the start line. But earlier on, I mentioned about Hungaroring. The main strategy behind that was to create GDP for the country of Hungary when it was when it was part of the Eastern Bloc and behind the Iron Curtain. Well, guess what? Zhuhai, exactly the same. It was a strategy for the People's Republic of China, the government, the executive committee, to bring in tourism and bring in money, and also use it as a staging ground to promote Chinese entrepreneurism and international trade. And to solidify that, they actually used an international engineering company that was Australian to build this place. Right from the very off, let me tell you, if China wanted to build this track, they could build it in 3 weeks. They've got enough people for a start, and they'll all do it because they're told to do it. But they didn't. They spent the money. They overtly, right from the word go, opened the track up to the international world to say, we're a serious country. We want to trade with you. We have the money. We have the expertise. Just because we're a communist country does not mean that we're evil. The days of having that shoved down your throat in the 50s and 60s are long, long gone. Please treat us as an equal footing on the international trade market, quite rightly in my view, and that's exactly what happened. First event was a BPR Global GT Endurance event, looking at my notes now, when was that? That was, it was rebuilt in '96, so around about 1996, I suppose. And it's a big scene in China. As I said, that China's first national superbike championship is due to take place around here. So, really good. Okay, now where are we? Let's see if we can orientate ourselves. We're riding with Mr. Orange. No, that doesn't help me. That's a corner. Okay. All right, we're on the main straight now. So, into turn 1, which is a right-hander, and with a small short into a turn 2, also a right-hander with a 45-degree exit. So we'll see it come into this one, bit of a kink, then into another right-hander with a 45-degree exit, straight the way down to turn 3, which is a kink in the road. You can just see that there. You can take that quite fast as he comes over to the left, up to turn 4, which is a 90 left. Up to turn 4, 90 left. Bit of a kink to the right, down the hill to turn 5. Turn 6 again is a fast right-hander, into the hairpin, turn 7. Out of the hairpin in turn 7, extending along, bit of a right-hand kink, into turn 8 there, and then into turn 9 and 10, which is a double left-hander. Double left 90 here, double left 90 in turn 10. Another straight, 350 yards into turn 11 and turn 12, which is a right-hander with 2 apexes. Apex 1 there, apex 2 there. Now we're going to sweeping left-hander, which is class of turn 13, into the final corner, a right-hander into turn 14, and then back onto the main straight. There you go, there's one lap of Zhuhai. Now, it's a shame speed's not here, is it? Or that I've even got camera views, because if I did have camera views, I'd be able to chuck you in the cockpit there. And clearly a lot of the over-talk tonight, the commentary tonight, I've been talking about some people when actually we weren't even looking at them. So our camera system is really screwed up tonight, but you know, the show must go on, and that's the important thing. So we'll try and get that sorted for next week, or certainly for Saturday. But as I said, you know, if we come across this sort of problem again, purely by virtue of the fact I can tell you how difficult it has been tonight, I think I would be the first to say I'm not doing it. I've got a sore throat and everything. Yeah, there we go. There's the run-ins. Taha in P1, 125.7. Let's go all the way down to P13. Nut, 129. So Taha, you know, if you watch his stream back later or whatever, you know, we're extending our virtual handshake, and we're certainly asking you to come back and enjoy some of our league races and events that we have on in the future. He's raced absolutely fantastic tonight. Not sure if he's in Discord, but if he is, let's see. He is. I'm going to drag him down. I'm going to drag down Taha Mala down tonight. I don't even know if he speaks English, but that's what I'm going to do. I shall drag him down unless someone gives me another name. Okay. So my race of the event tonight is going to be Taha, unless anyone else can give me another name to drag down. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag him down. He has raced the best out there tonight, and certainly, in my view, brought it to everyone that he's been racing against. Notwithstanding the fact the race isn't over, is it? The event's not over. This last race, Zhuhai Circuit, 2.68 miles, 4.3k, 8 minutes of racing in this beautiful 134 V8 Judd, as we currently look at Audi, hoping that we won't commentator curse him and that he'll get away cleanly as the red lights go off and they're away. Now come on, let's see a clean race, guys. Now you know that this car is not going to put up with you just stamping on the throttle, as someone does exactly that or brakes a little bit too late and loses it. That said, who have we got at the front? We've got Rigel at the front, we've got Rodders in second, Audi in third, and Taha in fourth position there, currently just taken Audi. Taha racing with Team Judd 134 is a default. So if he does race with a group out there, it's not on race room. But you know, taking Audi is no easy deal, I can tell you. So there we are, looking at Audi currently in fourth position with Luca Gray behind him. Then we've got Martin Peterman challenging Luca now. Definitely saying to Luca, you need to be careful, mate, because I'm going to have some of you. Charger behind Martin Peterman, again challenging him. This group of four here, Luca, Martin, Charger and Fergie, all waiting now. Fergie and Charger, in my view, are in the best positions, as sadly Taha has dropped all the way down, you know, all the way down, as he obviously had an off there, which is such a shame. Now that is the car, that is him not used to this particular car. We've very clearly seen that he has certainly got pace, and I'm willing to bet that if he was in a car that he knows well, that he would be certainly holding his own. Rigel out front, the chief track master, Mr. Smug, but right behind him is his brother in arms, the other track master, Rodders. So we've got a smug jock if you put them both together. But the fact of the matter, what is worse than a smug jock? Nothing. That's why they're two separate people. But these are really, really quick. I take the mickey, but these guys are really quick, and it would be nice to race with them without one of them lapping me, to be honest with you. But I overtly extend a challenge to either of them for Dirt Rally 2. That's all I'm saying. But that said, you know, taking nothing away from them, it's always lovely to see them race. They race so hard. They don't give each other anything. Outside of the track, they're as polite as can be, and notwithstanding the 5 rules of racing ethics, racing clean, fair for position, respecting other people and enjoying yourself, these guys will give the pressure like no one else out there can apply it, apart from one, speed. As we see Rodders there, challenge Rigel coming into turn 1. We'll take a little look. Speed is an alien, our resident alien, and extremely talented. And I'm willing to bet if he was out there now, he would be a few seconds in front. And there's an absolute reason why he's not racing in the Thursday nights, and that is to allow everyone else the opportunity to grow and the opportunity to enjoy leading. As Rodders has attested to, and Rigel on a few occasions, it's a lonely place out there when you're on your own. Sometimes these guys, are not quite so angry when they have an off as perhaps you or I would be, because it gives them the opportunity to fine-tune and refine their racecraft as they make their way through the field, especially when they're up against a time challenge on a Thursday night of an 8-minute race. It really is as thrilling for them as it is, say, racing against Speed or any of the other sort of team aliens that are out there in inter sim racing group events. Great. Enough of that monologue. Rigel then, leading Rodders 0.33. We'll keep an eye on that time, those positions there. Moving down the field, Audi in 3rd, Martin in 4th, Fergie in 5th, 1.78 seconds behind him, that man, Resident Evil. Then Rick Binnersley. Then we've got Nut, Cos in a good position there, 9th, as Cos just loses that to Nut. Then we've got Taha, who's raced so well tonight, but just had a few offs there. Then we've got Mr. Blue, Orange, Audi, as we see him just take Cos there. Cos is the steady, slow and steady. I say slow and steady, I mean, crikey, that's almost detrimental because he's not slow and steady. He is the safer one. If it means that he has got to challenge hard and know that he will come out on top, he would. But the fact of the matter is, he gets better, well, so does everyone else in RWB, and as a result of that, he always seems to be in that middle to bottom quadrant, as I certainly am, and as some others are as well. Yeah. So, looking now at H-Tune to give him some screen time. There's H-Tune, good to see him again out there. And Marco. And Timo in 14th. And finally, Luca Gray in 15th. Now, going back to that man there, Taha Mali. Now, despite the fact that he's in 8th, he still gets my vote for Racer of the event. Because I'm willing to bet that if he was in a car that he was familiar with, and I don't think he's that familiar with this car, he would certainly be bringing it to our very best. There's no question about that. He's been right up the front and been challenging and leading, and we should quite rightly give him stage and get to know him better. Yeah, for sure. Now, I've got lots of screens open here. I can see in the commentators channel there, Charger has just popped in. How you doing, Charger?
Yeah, not too bad. I just thought I'd come in and
Great.
slum it with you for a minute.
Wonderful, thank you very much. I'm tired of listening to my own voice, to be honest with you. I haven't sworn tonight, but I am tired of listening to myself. I've got no camera views apart from TV, and that has meant that I haven't been able to. It's been very challenging tonight, I can assure you of that. Anyway, listen, talk to me. Take the air for a while. We've got 1 minute left. How was your race? Your racing tonight?
Pretty good, actually. I'm really impressed with that car. Tricky. You've only got to get it slightly off the track and it's gone. The back end's really twitchy. But I was getting into it. I had a couple of good results. I went off on Norris Ring and ended up last week. But I was 5th in that last race and the game just crashed again.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. You certainly were having a good race, and I'd commented a couple of times that you were having a great race, yeah, it was good to see you. But this is a 134 V8 Judd. It's an F1 engine. It's 500 odd horsepower. The car weighs 800 kilos. It's designed to go as fast as possible with as much downforce as possible. and constantly. It's not designed to brake and speed up. So if you put your boot down on this, you're going to come off. And when you watch the wonderful George Paris in real life drive this before he was killed, you'll notice when he pulls away very, very slowly. So it's interesting you saying it's quite tricky to handle.
You do have to pull it, yeah, especially into those slower corners when you're coming out of them. You just can't boot it. I mean, I don't know if you noticed on some of the starts, the back end's all over the place, and that's as soon as you, like you say, you start losing downforce corners, coming around hairpins and stuff like that, you've really got to start.
Yeah, we certainly can't
plant it.
Yeah, and especially the hairpin on the Norris ring there, where you've got the blind apex, which is just down the hill a bit, and obviously the car is lighter down there, and what we were seeing was people applying too much throttle too soon while the car was light, and it just spun them around.
That's exactly what I did on I think the last corner. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a camber on that last corner on Norris ring as well. So if you go tight, it chucks you into the wall. Yeah, it's tricky. Really, really nice cars to drive, though. Exciting. I am sweating.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, essentially, it is a Formula One car in a 1 Series shell.
Absolutely.
So,
scream.
Absolutely, they do. Yeah. There we go, guys, ladies and gents. That's the end of the first race. As we watched the last person there, Timo, cross the line, the last runner in 15th place. Well done, Rigel. I know you absolutely enjoyed that battle with Rodders. Look at that, only 0.5 a second behind him, and at one point it was 0.11. 0.011. 1/10, 1/100th of a second behind him, which was quite unbelievable. Audi in third, Martin in fourth, Evil in fifth, Bergie in sixth, Rick Binnersey in seventh, Taha, and that's the guy I want to speak to. He is our racer of the event tonight, and we're going to grab hold of him in a minute. I don't know whether it's possible if you could help me charge and go and give him drag him down.
Yeah, just a sec.
And then we can see the rest of the runners. So there we go. That's whoops, sorry about that. Something wrong with my mic. So there we go. That is the conclusion of the Thursday night racing event. 1 car, 5 tracks. We were at Hockenheim. We were at Suzuka. We were at Hungaroring. We were then at Norris Ring, and we finished off with Zhuhai in the 134 V8 Judd. 500 horsepower, 800 kilos. Absolute monster of a car, made infamous, of course, by the wonderful George Plaza, who was sadly killed in 2011. Of course, rest in peace. So that is the end of the racing. Now, our racer of the event, which is voted in by you and voted in by me, every week, every Thursday, we drag them down and we ambush them. And I've given a slight lead-in for our friend Taha, purely because he's a guest at RWB. So very many congratulations, Taha. Although you didn't win the events or win them all, you were most certainly, in our view, the racer out there who was awarded the racer of the event. So very well done. So before I hand the stage over to you, just talk to me about the circuits that you ran tonight, what you thought of the racing out there, and what you thought of the car.
Thank you for what you just said. I mean, I just want to say that racing with RWB, I mean, it's always the best. So I mean, especially the mini league with the full setup, everyone on the same boat. So it's really good. I mean, I'm enjoying it every single time. I mean, you said that I was a guest. Like I used to race with the RWB, but recently I couldn't. I had some issues with my setup. So, but I will come as soon as possible. Many people here knows me, so I'm really happy to race with those guys. It's really it's my pleasure. So thank you so much, Jaga.
No, not at all. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure to watch you tonight. And yeah, I've only been with RWB for 3 or 4 months. So, outside of that, undoubtedly you've got some long-standing friends here. Come race back with us some more. We want to see some more of Taha out there. Yeah,
sure,
without question, absolutely without question. Please come back. Please race with us, not just on our Thursday leagues, but of course on our other events that we've got. We've got plenty of events going on, and you're exactly the sort of person that we want to race more with, because your racecraft out there tonight was outstanding. And we have 5 main key attributes that we say, must go in order. You must race clean, you must race fair, you must race for position, you must respect other people and have, decent racecraft, and of course you must enjoy yourself. And it was very clear from what we were watching there, whether you were leading, whether you were chasing, or whether you made an error and became, down the field, you were thoroughly enjoying yourself. And it was an absolute pleasure to watch. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, for sure, I did a few mistakes here and there, so I was impatient on Trotto always. I mean, it was really tricky this car. So I
Yeah, now
mean,
let's talk. Let's talk about these cars. You say they're tricky. Yeah, talk to us some more about that, because I mean, it is essentially a Formula One car in a BMW 1 Series.
it's a prototype with a really high downforce and equal to DTM cars and with even more power. I think 700 horsepower, which is really, I mean, awesome to drive. It's my first time driving those cars, so it's I mean, I think I already used it like 1 or 2 times, but no more than that. So I was learning the car, and I know the track, all of them, but the car it was tricky for me. So I managed to do like 3 pole positions. I won one, and the others I did a mistake. So I enjoy myself fighting backs. I mean, the level of racing RWB, it's always high, so it's sometimes to pass someone it's really tricky. So overall, I enjoy it really well. So thank you for you and for all the guys, especially others. So
Well,
thank you.
you're very welcome, sir. And I believe you're Moroccan. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm from
Well,
Morocco.
that's wonderful. And again, that just epitomizes the fact that we're an international group. We respect everyone. We don't care race, color, creed, where you come from. What binds us together is the fact that, of course, we all love to sim race, and there's nothing better than coming across and watching someone like yourself race so very well, as you did tonight. So
I
you will
I
always be
can
welcome here.
yeah, I can confirm that. I mean, the atmosphere in RWB is always nice. Sometimes we crash and I mean, but overall, it's really good. I mean, compared to other leagues, but for me, it's the best. Always saying it, so it's from my heart. It's the best. It's the best league I ever raced with. So thank you for all the guys that
Wonderful.
they're making sure to keep this league. I mean, with the amount of people in there and make it everything fair and square. So thank you so much.
Not at all. Thank you, sir. And it was a pleasure to watch you. As I just take a puff of my. God, crikey! I've been on my own tonight, Taha. That's bloody hard work. I've just taken a puff of my vaping machine there. So sorry if my voice went a bit there. But yeah, well, look. We look forward to seeing you again, Taha. And
For
thank you
sure.
very
Thank you so
much. I'll
much.
now drag you back up to the. I'll drag you back up into the room. There we go. Off he goes. He was a nice guy, wasn't he? We'll see more of him. He was bloody quick, wasn't he? I mean, let's face it. I did say, didn't I? I'd love to see him in a car that he knows, and I'm willing to bet that this is a car he doesn't normally drive. Guess what? It's not a car he normally drives. So there you go. That's the conclusion of the Thursday night. One car, 5 tracks. I mentioned where we were earlier on. How will you do? How will you do? Why don't you come along and find out? Doesn't matter whether you race with another league or not. Our doors are always open, and particularly on a Thursday night. One car, 5 tracks. Come see how you do. Try your hand. If you are out there as a lone wolf and you're not quite sure whether RWB is for you or not, well, pop along to our website, World Wide Web, rwbracing.club. You'll find all the details there, including our Discord. And if you're buying sim racing kit, we've got affiliate links there for everything from WH Smiths to Fanatec to Wilkinson's. You can buy a Sync or you can buy a Vasaro rig or a Fanatec wheel. We've got the lot. Okay, well, look, it's lonely, isn't it? There's no speed here, so it just takes me to close the stream now by saying thank you very much for joining me. Sorry about our camera views. We'll sort that out for next time. But until next time, don't race alone. Race RWB. Take care now. Bye-bye.